Yo, 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 what's going on? This is a special, I guess, collaboration, right, between Ten Toes Down podcast and GoCast podcast. I believe we're live streaming on my channel as well. But yeah, your boy King Speech is a little bit happy, a little bit happy. Listen, I wanted the Knicks to, win or lose. I wanted us to show up in this series, man. And look, we have played the. I've said this. We didn't play the Celtics strong all year, but we played the Celtics strong in the past few seasons. And the Celtics has took it up to another level. But I think they kind of exposed a little bit of an Achilles heel. When they go cold from three, um,
Exactly. That's their biggest weakness.
that's their biggest weakness. And they missed 40 something threes. I mean, Jesus, we
That's
thought
ridiculous.
what? I mean, damn, are we setting playoff records? Because Minnesota had to be, Minnesota missing that 40. That had to be almost close to a record. And then they missed 40. What, they missed 47 tonight?
They missed a
Um,
lot. That's all I
they
can say.
missed a
They
lot. And
missed
now
a
look,
lot.
we expect. Let me tell you something. We can live with Jalen Brown shooting threes. We don't. J- Derek White is such a throwback, and
Yeah.
Derek White is such a throwback because he's the guy who he shoots best of play breakdowns when the other guys break down stuff and offensive rebounds. That has been the key that I said to the series. If anybody saw my optimistic Knicks fan um, rant today post, that's one of the things I said. We have to limit these offensive rebounds. And Boston got a lot. I could probably look at the numbers when I get off here and see that they got to know that they got like 10, 11. But we did a great job of covering and all that. So it was a classic game. Let me while I'm on here.
That was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. While I'm on here, let me quickly. You know what? I got the heart of a champion thing going on, and I got Denver taking OKC out in seven, taking them out in OKC with a classic tour de force.
Wow.
Tour de force. And if anybody see my Knicks a Knicks fan, and I jumped out the window, bro. I said Knicks in six. I did. I wanted us to get one of the games up there in Boston. We did that. Obviously coming back from a tour. Boston been doing what they was doing all year, right? Playing us close, going on that run. But the Knicks, OG Anunoby is coming up. And look, for you guys, anybody that think that Brunson ain't the truth, I mean, come on, you just got to stop lying to yourself.
I mean, he hit some big shots down the
Bro,
stretch,
you got to stop lying.
and
People,
yeah, I mean
Brunson just,
they look even. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, look, the Knicks still have our
they look
flaws.
even. Like
Yeah, yeah, and this is what I've been saying. Roster wise with me, and here's the thing. Here's the next thing. Even though I know that they hacked him out of the game, like they did the hack of Mitch to get him out of the game. But if you look at the plus minus of Mitchell Robinson, plus 13, he makes a difference, guys. He
yeah,
makes a difference because he allows us to play our base defense. Cat, now what I was killing Tibbs for. What I was killing Tibbs for in the first half is when Cat picked up that second foul and Hart picked up the second foul. You know those are your two best rebounders.
mm-hmm.
He came in, he let Hart stay in. Hart didn't get the second foul, thank God. But then Cat got the second foul after him. I said when Cat picked up that second foul, you should have came in with Mitchell. I mean, you should have came in with Precious Achua. You should have came in with Precious Achua because Precious Achua, as a matter of fact, when he got the first foul, because you know that Cat, you got to save Cat for it. And mind you, Cat was cooking. He had 10 points in him. He wound up
Yeah,
with 12 for the game, but he was cooking with Brown on him. And that pretty much threw off his rim. Cat never got it back. I said it. It's funny that we beat the Pistons, and I said Cat needs to score 4 points in every quarter. Now he had the 31-point game, the game after that in game three, and then he had pedestrian games 4 and 5, and then he had a pedestrian game one. But he was cooking in that first half before getting the foul. So
mm-hmm.
you know, well, yeah. So obviously this is what's going on. Obviously, I can't. I'd be remiss not to speak on the next game. I did want to. I was ready to come on and say, "Oh, did this get blown out?" But here we are. So, I was I'd made an appearance on Go Jays Kingdom. I was invited to have a Kobe versus LeBron debate. Kind of the format was never really explained to me until we got on stream. You know what I'm saying? And then they
Yeah.
sent me the link. They sent me the link. I was there. They went. How we pregame before we go live. And
Yeah.
we did, but I was sitting in there backstage and they kept saying, "Oh, I didn't show up. I didn't show up." Craig Craig was the third judge, right? He's not one of the crew. So they invited him to come judge, and they put him in. Now again, how you gonna look backstage and then hear me? At the same time, I was getting my son, I was getting my son to bed, right? So they come on at 9, and I said my son's bedtime. So I was like, by the time they finally did let me in, they went live, and I had to tell them, "Hey guys, I gotta let my son put my son down to bed." You know what I'm saying? So but they finally gave me the breakdown right before we went to go. Okay, so I knew it was going to be the 5-minute rounds and all that, and so
Yeah.
but then they told me this is not about this, because if you see right, they clipped me up saying I'm a Jordan fan, which I'm not. And I rake LeBron all the time. Now I have Jordan as my GOAT, but I was. If anybody knows me, knows that I rooted against Jordan at all 6 of his finals, and he won all 6 of them. He let me down all 6 of them. But I
Let you
have him
down.
exactly. I have him as my GOAT. So I let them know, and again, they can't understand how anybody has LeBron James outside of the top 5, and so so here we are. And I said, LeBron's my 8. I have him right behind Kobe. Now, I want people to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
For you to be in the top 10, I want people to understand. Like Hakeem Olajuwon is my top 10. Is my 10. Shaq is my number 9. Hey, what up, D-Lo? Yeah, just one
What up,
game. I
D-Lo?
know. I'll holler at you later. If you want to pull up, you can. But and I know you
Yeah,
probably
we can
busy.
put the link in there if you want to.
Yeah. I'll let them know. Let me comment if you want to pull up and holler for a minute. That was a bad one. Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah, it was.
look.
It was.
I mean, yeah, they kind of blew it, but they also, I mean, I think they seen that the Knicks got some punch. Like the Knicks do have some punch. You know what I'm saying? So, if anything, here we are. So, getting back to the discussion. So, yeah, I have, and in my criteria, I tried to do it. You know what the problem is? You know what the issue is? I do this all in my head. I haven't written my criteria down, and I really need to do it. I've been judging GOAT pretty much since I was a teenager, bro. So this is about 30 years. So you got to understand, right? I basically updated it as Jordan 1 is 6, and I said I couldn't relent. Then I got perspective on Magic. I got perspective on Kareem. I got a little bit more. So again, my GOAT is a little old school, and for me, I think Jordan. My top 5 is Jordan, Wilt, Russell, Hakeem, and Magic, and they're like, "Well, how could you put 2 teammates?" See, this is the idiotic thing that they do. They think because Hakeem and Magic played together, both of them
You mean
can't be top
Kareem?
5 players.
You
Yeah.
call him, yeah, Kareem. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they think because Kareem and Magic, and they've got to realize Kareem had a career before Kareem had
Exactly.
almost 10-year career before Magic played a game, right?
Yep.
And then they cooked for 5 championships together. Now, one of the stupid things that they say, and one of the stupid things that they said is, well, Kareem in those last 2 championships, he wasn't, how could you? I mean, like me putting Kareem up there. I mean, first of all, the fact that he diminished his role, I want people to understand something. Kareem in those years, at age 40, age 41, and age 42, he played about 95 games minimum when it comes to the regular season playoffs. Now compare that to what LeBron has been playing. LeBron has played, like this year, he played 76 games. I believe he played 70 in the regular season, and then he played 71 in the regular season. He played 5 in the playoffs for 76. Kareem's last year, he played 70 games in the regular season, plus the 15. So he played 85 games in that last year as they got to the finals and got swept by Detroit. But they got to the finals while LeBron got knocked out in the first round. Now, if you want to dock Kareem for being a diminished player at age 42, but yet still being a starter, and again, I get the All-Star. He only averages about I think 12 and 6 or something, 12 and 5. But he was still vital to the Lakers because, again, remember, he's going up against the bad boys. in that finals. He's going up. He's banging with the Ralph Sampsons and the Hakeem Olajuwons and the Patrick Ewing and the Brad Daughertys, at age 42. Hakeem, Kareem was still, an all-star. Again, the all-star in the age 42 was given, given that at the, as a ceremonial thing, obviously, I'm sure. But Kareem was still a vital part to the Lakers. Now, was he the number one? No. But see, this is the problem. You got, they want to dock Kareem for not being number two, but the team won a championship. Let me ask you something. Would LeBron, be the third or fourth best player on the Lakers if they won a championship? See, in their warped minds, no, because it wouldn't count as much, and he would get ring number 5, but he wouldn't be the man, so that wouldn't equal him to Jordan. And that's the problem. We can't the whole Gilbert Arenas silver medal championships and bronze medal championships is absolutely you win the championship. You play the role. I would rather be the third, fourth best player on a team that won a championship than a second best player on a team that was expected to win a championship, yet got bounced in the first round winning only one game. I mean, is that not?
I mean, to me, that's truth. That's facts.
That's logic, right? So again, Kareem won the championship at age 40. He won the championship at age 42, and he got to the final. 41, and he got to the finals at age 42. Mm-hmm. You can't, so to sit there and say, well, LeBron did look at LeBron's numbers, and look, Kareem didn't cheat you on defense. Kareem was blocking a shot, and he also let Clay's daddy play 20 minutes backing him up. But he reduced it, and it's funny because I sent you their post. Their live from yesterday, and then Johnny and B. Lee was going at it. And Johnny and B. Lee believes that LeBron should be playing 32 minutes maximum. I believe the same thing. Yeah. Remember, Darvin Ham wanted him to play 32 minutes, and LeBron didn't like that. And I'm going to tell you why LeBron didn't like that, because he knew he wouldn't get his numbers.
Yeah, he can't get his numbers. I mean, he
couldn't get his numbers. So the problem is, and if y'all could, D-Lo, you could say I'm hating, but this is fact. LeBron chose numbers over winning, because guess what? If he stepped back and played 32 minutes a game, he would have been better, more fresher in the playoffs.
Yeah, he should have been campaigning for Jackson Hayes to get some minutes. He
Thank you.
Been
thank you.
Oh,
but you know what it is.
Let Jackson go in.
And then he said it after the fact. Why wasn't Jackson Hayes playing? Well, guess what, bro? And King John, when I was on there yesterday, I think I pulled up yesterday as well. And King John, did I pull up yesterday? No, I let them have it. I was on AOH. I was on the Sunday Live panel. I can't pull them. But he says, do we know that? Come on, bro. If you don't believe that LeBron James got JJ Redick that goddamn coaching job, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
I know, right?
I got a bridge to sell you, a nice big old brown bridge in Brooklyn to sell you, bro.
Yeah,
Come
LeBron
on.
said, I'm gonna put Jackson Hayes in for some spot minutes to see what he can do against Rudy and these guys. Yeah. I think JJ Redick would have said, no, I'm gonna keep my lineup the way I want it. No.
Come on now. We all know this. And we all know that LeBron's defensive lapses, of course, the Lakers. I mean, again, LeBron proved it. Look, LeBron proved that he can still play defense. Here's the thing. And I said this on one of my rants. It was proven when LeBron plays defense, the offensive numbers go away. Because when he was ramping it up on defense in game 3 and game 2, he didn't get anything. He didn't get any stats in the fourth quarter. Again, the key to the series, Minnesota blew them out in the fourth quarter by 49 points for the series. That's 10 points a game in the series for the fourth quarter. So that, I brought these things up. So let's, and I haven't watched this clip all the way through. I just watched like the first minute. So if you want to play and, I'll let you know to stop and share my thoughts on what was going on.
There's some crazy stuff on here. I listened to part of it. Yeah. All right,
so they got me good though, but it's all good. Like I showed you, I pull up. I'll be at my.
Where do you have Kobe ranked all time? Because I think he's number 10.
I got him number 7, and one of the reasons I do is because, and I got him 2 spots ahead of Shaq. Number one, because of the extra championship, but number that's one reason why Shaq is not top 5, because he got to that part of his career and just got lazy.
He got Bron at 8.
And I got LeBron 8. Yeah.
What? Excuse me?
So 7, 8, 9. I got it. It's a razor thin margin.
I love
you know,
the
and again, I really, that's the other thing I
Bronny
thought.
James at 8.
Yeah.
Got LeBron James at 8. Yes, I do.
You heard his great argument for that just now.
All right, so
one other thing we got to do,
Bronny James
what
at
is
8.
your criteria?
B-Lee.
I really want to know.
Again?
I really want to know.
One of my because I have, again, my top 5 is Kareem, Magic, Wilt, Russell, and MJ. No particular order right there.
Get
right?
Magic out of there.
That's fine. But
Let me stop there. Yes. Beasley, see, this was T Perfect. Travis is a good dude. He's not necessarily a Bron fan. Yeah. He told me he was a Kobe fan. It's funny, I'm debating a Kobe fan when I wasn't a Kobe fan. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, again, if y'all think I hate LeBron, y'all should have seen me during the midst of Kobe's career, but Kobe couldn't lose enough for me. But again,
how can he say Magic shouldn't be?
Get Magic out of there. And see, here's one argument that I have. Here's one argument that I have. You see the part where LeBron and them went to 8 finals and they went to 9 finals in 10 years or whatever it is, right? Yeah. You know, they went to, so you basically from 2010 to 2020.
And look at what Magic did. Yeah.
So that part of his career is Magic's whole career. That means Magic didn't have the losing season. That means Magic didn't have the years getting knocked out of the first round. I don't think Magic ever got knocked out of the first round. Mm-hmm. Remember a couple of years ago, that was a big deal that LeBron never lost the first round series. Yeah. Well, now that LeBron has lost 3, I said, guys, is that like, oh, but LeBron is 40. Oh, but you didn't consider that Jordan got drafted to a bad Bulls team, right? Yep. That's what happens when you're the third. Okay, now look, the one thing they could hit you back with is that Hakeem at least got to the finals in his second season. Yeah, but he got drafted with Ralph Sampson.
Exactly.
And yes, they did get out of the first round. I mean, they did get out of the West with the Magic in them in '86, and they played the '86 Celtics. Played them, I think was it 4-2. I gotta,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, in '86, again, the same '86 Celtics that the Bulls played, but Jordan was playing with David Corzine, Orlando Woolridge, and I mean, come on, man. Come on, and that's when I got the
best player, Orlando Woolridge.
Yeah, was his best. Or his best player. Or, we all know that. We all know about the drug problem. Old George Gervin, who played 1 minute, a garbage time minute in the series. I mean, again, the man was called Garden Sneakers by Larry Bird, who was considered the best player in the game at that point. And Larry Bird realized that Michael was coming in his second year. See, it's so funny. By the same token, right? Kobe, by the age 23, had 2 championship rings. Before he turned 24, he had 3 championships. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, you guys want to pass for LeBron having a bet, not making the playoffs. And I look, when you guys say, look at the record, well, they were 30 and 52. We all know that they were 30 and 52 because Jordan played 18 games that year. Not only did he play 18 games, he came back with a strict minute limit. And they didn't want to play him at all, but Jordan said, no, I'm going to fight for the playoffs. Think about this. And the league was known for fixing lottery. Like, this is the second ever draft lottery. Brad Daugherty, who played with Michael at college, played with Michael at UNC.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls could have said, well, let's get Michael and Brad there. Let's get Michael and Brad together. No. Jordan said, I'm going to do what I can. But he played 20 minutes a game and played so well in those 20 minutes, nursing a broken foot, a healed broken foot, that they got to the playoffs. The reason why they got to the playoffs at 30, right? I think I don't know. I forget which team won 29, was right behind the Bulls. But you got to remember, there were 23 teams. The league had just expanded playoffs to 16 from 12. I think that year or the year before. It's the year before, because it was rookie year. They expanded to the 16 playoffs. Again, they realized what the stars that were coming to the league, that 84 draft, and they said, well, let's get more teams to the playoffs. So the reason why, just do the math. Teams under 5, if 16 out of 23 teams are going to make it to the if 16 teams are going to make it to the playoffs, then 20, then out of 23, then a few of those teams are going to be under 500. That's just math, right? The 13th team, like the 12th or 13th team, best team in the league, you would expect to be 500. So that's the situation. Then they add four expansion teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now you justify having an expansion playoff, but then they say that's a negative. Well, how's that a negative? You got guys that wouldn't have been in the league getting. I think anytime they say expansion is a negative, no. You got guys that you started bringing European players to the league.
Expand. Yeah, that's what
you expand and you give more. You're bringing more talent. You're giving more talent a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and you can get, like you said, you can get better talent because you can expand where the reach goes instead of just colleges. You can go outside and go to foreign markets and find talent because you have enough teams and enough roster spots where you can expand your talent. So, I mean, I don't see how that can be a negative. I never understood that.
It's commented about look at this old head, and I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this, but I mean, it is what it is. That's your opinion. I mean, it was a bunch of white guys. We got two white guys running the league right now. I mean, what are we talking about?
A Jordan fan, man. I mean, I'm a Jordan fan, so
yeah. I mean, look, it's cool. It's weird, I'm a Jordan. And that's the thing. I'm not a Jordan fan, but I respect Jordan as the GOAT. I know he was the best player I ever seen, and then when I look at a historical perspective, I think he's the best player, and there's a reason why. There's a lot of things in my criteria. Now, I got to write this criteria down. It's good. It's so damn. It's not that complex, but there's about 10 things that I look at, and I try not to I try not to just do the ring thing, because again, all right. Well, why Russell? Well, Russell's in my top 3 because he has 11 rings. Russell has 11 rings because he's the greatest winner in the history of American sports. And he won 2 at a nothing college like he won 2 at a nothing college like University of San Francisco. University of San Francisco never won anything, in any major Division 1. That's how good Russell was at what he did. And you got to remember when Russell was in college, the NCAA tournament was bigger than the NBA. The NBA didn't get bigger than college until maybe the late 60s to the 70s. And it took Russell and Chamberlain to become the attractions that they did, to legitimize the NBA. And what's funny, and this is the thing about Will, when I have my number 2, the number, the records that he holds, but again, Wilt made the best argument for Jordan not to be a GOAT. And he did it at the 97, the 50th anniversary, All-NBA 50th anniversary team. He told Jordan, look, they make rules to help you. They made rules to stop me. And not only did they did that, they made rules to stop me when he was in high school because they thought, again, you got to remember, this is a league where white America ain't really picking up on it. They didn't want, I watched this Celtics documentary on the Russell documentary. The Boston didn't like the fact that they played too many black players. Keep it real. This is great. Like Boston won 11 championships and they didn't fill it up, the arenas. The only time they filled the arenas when Chamberlain would play Russell, because that was the attraction. Like they didn't fill the Boston Garden when Russell was one of those 11 champions. Yeah. So look, that's the 60s, a whole different era. Bro, y'all don't understand it. We still in Jim Crow. We're still in Jim Crow, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean Kareem, Derpy. I mean, I can get with you with Kareem. I mean, people don't really analyze Kareem like that because he was kind of quiet. Yeah. He wasn't out there like that. But yeah, and bro, he won at every level. He won at every level. He
won at every level. I mean, if you go, and I said, see, if you want to say totality of a basketball career, Kareem might be the GOAT of all time. No problem. I don't have. He's in my top 4. Again, they don't like the fact that I have Kareem rated over LeBron. Again, Kareem has 6 championships, 6 MVPs. I mean, again, they want to dock Kareem for being a role player, essentially on the No, Kareem was more than a role player. Kareem, they could not remember when he retired. They got knocked out by Phoenix in 1990. Then when they got Vlade Divac, they got back to the finals. And once Magic caught the virus, that was pretty much the end of that. Had we known what we know about the virus now, with the medication and stuff, they would have never asked him to retire. They would have just said, the same rules they have about blood and stopping,
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1991, we did not know what we know about HIV that we know now. And so Magic, unfortunately retired. But again, his career was the winning part of LeBron's career. So that
Exactly. That's what people. Yeah, I mean, they take Magic off of there. It's just insane to me. I mean, I like T Perfect's cool. He knows his stuff, and he's pretty fair when it comes to it.
He is cool.
But
I mean, again, and that's one thing. One thing about my criteria: the fact that Magic doesn't have a losing season, and was considered because again, the same thing with Duncan. That's okay. Duncan is in my top 13, 14. He's outside of my top 10. The same thing with Duncan, but by the same token, Duncan went to 7 finals in 20 years, right? Magic went to 9 and basically 12. The winning as a rookie. I know Rod Duncan won in the second year, beat an undermanned Knick team, right? No Patrick Ewing, Marcus Camby, but you can't expect him to apologize for that. But he was finals MVP in the second year when Magic was rookie. Again, we got into the whole why Magic got the rookie of the year. You could have made them co-rookie. You could have made him. I mean, why he got the MVP of the finals because Kareem wasn't there in the building to receive the award. You understand what I'm saying? Like, see, they want to dock you for that. That's and I try. Let's play some more because I think they're gonna.
Oh well, Durkin wants to know who's your 7 through 1. I guess.
Okay, so 6 is Larry Bird. I got Larry Joe Bird, and then 7 I got Kobe. That's why I put LeBron at 8. I put Shaq at 9, and I put Hakeem Olajuwon at 10.
Okay.
All right. So right outside of that, you got Oscar. You got, I'm kind of because you got Oscar, Doc, Dr. J. Malone is probably somewhere before you get to the team. You got Elgin Baylor in there, Jerry, the logo, really, and Duncan. So then you get to the Malones, you get to the KD is up. I think KD, I got him at a firm 17, and I might have Curry at 19.
Ooh,
remember, these are the guys.
KD over Curry?
I think, KD's a better player. Okay. I mean, like, you want one thing. See, one thing about Curry when I judge this, the first 4 years where he was injury prone and Golden State won a very good team. I gotta kind of dock him.
I remember they were mad when they traded Monte Ellis for
and that was
it, and they thought they should have traded Steph, which they regret. I'm sure. Curry
was lucky he wasn't in Milwaukee. Be honest, he was lucky he would have. And there would have been no Golden State dynasty. So things happen. This is the debate I was having on Cino's channel where I said Curry. Curry could have had a better career with the Knicks. Yeah, Curry could have had a great career if the Knicks drafted him because we would have drafted him to what team that Mike D'Antoni was the coach of, and we could have built an offense around him. You know what I'm saying? But no, he wound up in a great place because Mark Jackson changed the culture of Golden State basketball, right?
Absolutely.
And
he needs all the credit. Give Mark Jackson his credit for that.
Yeah.
Oh, Derpy,
I'm not mad. One thing, Derpy. Like I said this, and I go on that podcast and I say, the GOAT conversation is a subjective conversation.
Yep.
There's no right answer. There's no way for me to prove you wrong. The way where the debate comes at is when I say, okay, what's your criteria on making your GOAT? And if I can sniff some biases or inconsistency in your criteria, then we have a debate. But there's no right answer. Like I can't get mad at people for having LeBron number 2. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna debate you. I'm gonna say why is he better than Wilt? And that was one of the things we got into as how Wilt owns the record book. Wilt has Wilt literally has the most all-time records. No, LeBron. No. Wilt has the most all-time records because when you say all-time records, like when you look at obviously points in a game, rebounds in a game, field goals made in a game, free throws made in a game. Those are all-time records, and then free throws made in the season. So when LeBron has I think because LeBron has more all-time stat or more all-time. First of all, there's only 2 categories LeBron has the all-time lead in: points and turnovers. And he got turnovers. 2 years before he broke Kareem. So no, when I say he has the most all-time records, And that's Wilt at 10. That's Kobe 9. Russ. Oh no, big Russ. Okay, not Russell
I was
Westbrook.
about to say, not Westbrook.
Curry 7, Duncan. I can see again. I can't get mad. I'm just gonna ask. I could ask you what the criteria is, and look,
Derpy, I mean, yours close to mine. I mean, except for Curry, but I got Jordan first, Kareem second, and LeBron third. And I know people gonna get on me about LeBron, but I got Duncan fourth and Magic fifth.
And good. If y'all like the longevity, great. But see, when it gets to the part where I'm a hard grader because I'm going to judge you by your best teams. I think that's the part that people don't realize. Do you have a dominant team? What is your best team like? Like for Bird, it was the 86 Celtics.
Yeah,
86 Celtics, right? With Wilt had both the 67 Sixers, which stopped the run, which stops the 8 championship runs. That team was great. Wilt, Hal Greer, Billy Cunningham, North Carolina boy, right? Chet Walker. They won 60. They won 67 games. I think it was 68-13. They finally knocked off the unbeatable Celtics. And then he had 69-13. So those two dominant teams, that dispels any myths that Wilt was a loser. When you look at Wilt's career, you got to understand when he was with Philadelphia, they were good. They were coming up. They were trying to get past the Celtics. And then what happened? Philadelphia had to sell it because they weren't doing business the way they needed to. They had to sell the team and they moved to San Francisco. Well, could you imagine if LeBron, let's say LeBron was like Shaq, right? And he had Penny, he had Horace Grant, he had Penny and Horace Grant, and Nick Anderson and Minute Scott. Could you imagine because the team has to move from Orlando to, let's say, I don't know, Seattle, that Penny and Horace Grant said, I'm going to retire because I can't move. I'm not moving my family across the country. People got to understand this. In their 60s, these guys were not making fucking they weren't making $6 million. They were making about 10,000 to 15,000. So when Paul Arizin, Hall of Famer Paul Arizin, and I believe it was Guy Rogers, I think it was two of his 3 best players retired, and the coach retired. Because again, they were not going to move their family across to San Francisco. They stayed on the East Coast and stayed in Philadelphia. Yep. They decided to retire rather than move to San Francisco. But then the team got bad. So again, Wilt was never on a good winning team until he got traded back to Philly with the Sixers. And that's when that team was dominant. Wilt had to change the game. Now, a lot of things that people say, well, look at his numbers in the playoffs. He only averaged 22 in the playoffs. That's because in his longest playoff runs, he changed his style to play more like Russell.
Yeah, he was trying to facilitate a lot.
He was facilitating more. Yeah. So those years where he got 16, 17, the majority of his playoff games, he's not playing like the Wilt of the dominant Wilt, scoring 50. No, he's saying, look, I'll allow other guys to score around me, and that's why those teams were great, and that's why he was the MVP of those teams. Yep. So. Yeah, man, that's the historical perspective that people got to understand again. And like I said, for me, forget the social stuff that Wilt and Russell went through. Like, bro, they went to places where we still had the Green Book. And if anybody saw that movie, The Green Book, like they couldn't eat. Come on, the shit they had to go through, and you guys are whining about Twitter.
Real. Yeah, that's real adversity, man. That's real adversity because you just hate you just because.
Yeah, but even if I take that out and just look at the basketball, these motherfuckers were head and shoulders. Again, the all-time record. Wilt had 30 and 40 in a Game 7 of the finals. Come on, 30 points and 40 fucking rebounds.
That's insanity. Like getting 20 rebounds is a lot. Getting 40 is
40, and a little bit the pace and everybody. But guess what? You got to get up and go down the court and still jump to get them 40 rebounds, elbows in your throat and all that. And you're doing it in Chuck Taylors. Exactly. The Kobe copycat. Look, Kobe the copycat. I mean, look, why wouldn't you want to mimic the GOAT? Again, Kobe was a beast. So I did my best to rep for Kobe, but I wasn't on my A game because I could have really caught them a lot. The 5-minute format, man, that shit, that 5 minutes go fast, bro. That 5 minutes go fast. So you got to come in.
into this soundbite? We're gonna get back into this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Why? That's what I want to know.
I can understand why Magic is out of there.
Like, why would you put LeBron James number 8? I really want to know why. What makes
got the
those
teammates
other
on how
players
you
so
got
much
two
better than
teammates
him?
on the top 5?
See, right
Yeah,
there.
well,
Craig
why
said
do
no
you
teammates in the
make
top
those
5.
players rank so high? Like, what's your criteria?
So my criteria is being dominant in the league, right? You've got to be dominant. Winning. Okay, number one, have a winning record. Number two, perform in the playoffs. We all know a great could get knocked out in the first round, at like what happened here. And you either run into a better team or you just run into, certain a key injury. Like, I'm not gonna kill a guy because
Just
somebody
like,
got injured.
like Jordan averaging 37, but lost in like the first round. That doesn't mean Jordan was trash.
And you're right. At the beginning of his career against all-time great teams, that's all the context.
It doesn't hurt Kareem's status that he only really found consistent success when Magic was there, and Kareem was
and that's
finals
another
MVPs
thing. Why?
and MVPs
Why would it
with his
hurt?
teammates and winning rings as like the third best watch from? That doesn't knock him down even though that never happened to LeBron.
But this is my thing. Why would it not? We all know that in 1980, that Kareem was the most dominant player in that series until he turned his ankle, right? And we all know that they gave Magic the award because they wanted the award winner to receive it on
87, 88, and 89 when Magic and Worthy were the
well, if you're gonna say that, then Kareem won it in 85. Okay, like what am I gonna do? See, right here's the thing. There's another debate I had in the Go-Jane Kingdom room. Kareem at that point was 40, 41, and 42. He got to the finals all 3 years. Now, to say that he lost it to his teammate, well, that's what are we doing here? Number one, I can tell you that Kareem was not even a top 10 player at that part of his career. Why
he wasn't the best player on his own team?
But you're using his accomplishment as a non-top 10 player to make for those years to make him a top 10 player.
Stop there, right? Sorry, there. Sorry, there.
He ain't lying.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the. No. Wait.
Your top 5.
Stop right there. I think here we go. At that point, why is Kareem my top 5? Because he dominated the 70s. He was a dominant player in the 70s. Now, was he winning every year? No, again, that's context. You can't win every year if you don't have the team.
Well, he won once in the 70s, right?
See, I want them to understand. He won in 70. My argument is not based on Kareem winning 6 rings. Because he had 6 MVPs before he had 6 rings.
Look. And did he even win another one for like almost a decade? 8-year stretch.
So 8-year stretch. So then am I killing LeBron for not winning? Because remember, if I'm
hold on, I just gotta say something real quick. Like,
sure.
What I don't understand is how we diminish players because they have other great players with them. That doesn't.
It's
make
stupid. It's asinine. It is asinine. Yeah. See, because my thing, I don't hold LeBron. LeBron can play with the whole All-Star. He can play with the whole entire All-Star roster. I don't care. Win with him. Man.
That's the fact. That's it.
He played with a wing of the year that they had the top 75 team, I believe. Right? Was it? That was 2022. Yeah, 2022. So the year that they had the top 75, he had 5 top 75 players on his team. Matter of fact, I think they kept what's the name off. No, he had 4, but he had 6 Hall of Famers, and Dwight Howard should have been on that. If Dennis Rodman, if some of the names is on that fucking list, if Dwight Howard was not on it, but he had 5, in my opinion, 5 top 75 and 6 Hall of Famers because Rondo was on that team. I know they cut Rondo. I know they traded Rondo or cut him or whatever, but they didn't even make the playoffs. See, I don't get mad at you you can play with who you want to play with, but then win. If you play with the guys and you don't win, then I'm docking you. And you don't get to the finals. You don't get to the conference.
Good criteria, because we need to write these down because we gotta put them in black and white.
See, they never get to the part where I start taking points away from LeBron for having teams with expectations that don't live up to those expectations. That's the thing. If you want to say he went a decade without winning, so okay, LeBron went 8-9 years without winning. He didn't win till his 9th season. Jordan won his 7th season.
Yep.
And Jordan doesn't have a 7-year. Other than that, doesn't have a 6 or 7 year stretch where he didn't win a championship. He will say LeBron is because right now, if LeBron didn't win the bubble, we would have 9 years that LeBron didn't win a championship. And no, mind you, at the one in 2016, LeBron was still only 31 years old. Remember, LeBron's birthday is in December, so he doesn't turn 32 until that December. So so the Cleveland championship was at 31. Then he wins another one at 35, the same year Michael Jordan won his last one with the Bulls. Okay, but you're holding. Yep.
So I would say they called Magic old when he was 32 in 91 playing in the finals.
He's actually 31, and in real years he was 31. Yeah, because his birthday is into August. See, when you start knowing what the birthdays is, right? Magic is a summer baby, so he don't turn 32 until after the season. Yeah. Now notice, right? The NBA decided to make February 1st. That's your year. Even though Kareem won the last ring when he was 41 years old, they call it his year 40 season. Even though he was 41 when they actually won the final. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm just going to look at what your age is when you. And again, we only do this. You know, the only reason why we do this age thing, right? You know, bro, we 40 something, right? You go play with the young. You go play with the YNs on the court. Are they going to be like, oh man, you nice for 40? No, they gonna come at your head and you either win or you lose. Ain't nobody gonna be like you nice for 46. They might call you OG, you know. Yeah. But that's the thing. So I've said this. Why do you guys want LeBron's age to be both a highlight and a crutch? So when he wins something, oh look, he won at 40. When you don't lose, but he's 40. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do both of them.
No, there's not two narratives. There's one. You got to pick which narrative you're going to stick with.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to go
and so then that's what I'm saying. So if you want a chance, and again, I was on them because I've been saying it for the longest. If the Lakers losing the first round, so y'all basically saying that LeBron got nothing to lose. But you got to realize you're playing with Laker money, Laker history. Luka is getting killed now all of a sudden. Look, bro, we can get into all that later, man. I'm gonna do a lot of, but yeah, keep going, man.
All right, we're gonna keep going.
Hold on.
Without winning a title.
Yes, it takes. See, that's the thing. It takes a lot to win a championship. You got to have a perfect.
Will was your top 5, right?
Who? What's my thing?
All right. So, Cage Page, is there anything else to why you rate people above LeBron? Like have them so low, and these players are so better because they were better.
You have Will your top 5.
They were winning more than LeBron.
Will owns the record book. Okay, Will owns the record books when most of the records, like most of the stat, like there's no block. Imagine if it was blocks and steals. I mean, like Will.
I thought it was about stats.
Say again?
Thought it wasn't about stats.
It's not about stats. It's about goal stats. What he think he has. There's a difference.
What he has. What I can look at the record book and see. I can look at the record book and see 30 rebounds a game. I can look at the rebound record books and see him go 24 rebounds a game in the finals. The one thing that it says Will, right? And again, one thing to say Will. Go ahead. Say again.
Who owns the record books now?
No, there's records that LeBron will never touch that Will have. And again,
you said I said, who owns the record books now?
It's still Will.
No, it's LeBron now, bro. It's
LeBron. Wait. Does LeBron own rebounds all time? Rebounds per game?
Oh, he won points all time.
Yes, I mean to do
that. He has one all-time record. Will had it until Kareem took it. So
Will did have it. He did have it.
Okay, yeah, he did it until Kareem took it from him. But again. Okay, so he has points all time. But then if I go in points per game, points in a game, I mean, look, the 9 of the top 10 scoring games. Again, points per game in a season. LeBron has all-time numbers.
I'm going by your logic. You said it's all about winning.
No, see, y'all try. What it is
records is winning.
I think I'm trying to prove to you guys that I use the total body of work. The total body of work.
I'm trying to see what else is in there.
You see how they won't let me talk, and every time that happens, if you're gonna ask me something, I got Will guys ask Will ever in the league and not a top 3 player.
So wait, King Speech, you're saying that someone who has the most All NBAs of all time, the most points of all time, he's going to be top 5 in like 4 of the major categories. Is that guy's not a top 5 player of all time?
No.
Top 8.
Yeah,
Why
I
John
do.
Stockton out of your top
Like,
five? He's
we
number
really
one
need
in
to know.
two
Well,
categories.
again, if we're going to do that, okay, John Stockton owns 2 stats, right? 2 is the 5 stats: points, rebounds, assists, and blocks, right?
Yeah, how many MVPs does Stockton have? And Finals MVPs?
0. See, that's what I'm saying. Now you're throwing other. See, what you're throwing other factors into the argument. He has no rings, though. So obviously, Stockton.
Just real quick, thank you for bringing that up because nobody talks about John Stockton. He owns 2 number 1 stats all time, and
this is the thing. And this is the thing. This is the thing that I said. Not only does he own them, he's so far ahead of them. Yep. He's like that. He's like 3,000 stats. 3,000. Like LeBron could play the next 10 years. He might not get 4,000 assists that he's behind John Stockton in. LeBron will never get John Stockton in steals. No, you know, and that's the thing. But I'm also trying to tell him, like, look, I don't have John. See, at this point, they think, oh, now because I said Wilt, that I have Wilt up. It's just about records. No, it's about the total body of work. Now, what saved Wilt is Wilt has 2 dominant championships. You got to understand. Then you look at the context, like I just shared. He lost when he was San Francisco. He was with San Francisco when they moved from Philadelphia to San Francisco. He lost 2 of his best players. You got to remember, you don't have free agency. You have what your GM can go draft. You understand what I'm saying? You have if your GM can go draft a guy, if there's another guy remember, you still have the territorial draft. That's the only reason he was with Philly anyway. Because he was born in Philly, and they needed to have an attraction for Philly, so they did the territorial draft. It was the NBA draft, and it was a territorial draft. Mm-hmm. So he was placed on Philly as a territorial draft pick, and next thing you know, he's in San Francisco. You know, and maybe Russell will get put in San Francisco if the Warriors went to San Francisco because he was a San Francisco kid. You know, he played college out there, and he lived out there. Once his father, they had to run from the lynch mob in freaking Louisiana. See, this is the thing, they don't understand the history. So again, when you talk about greatest of all time, that's what it means, greatest of all time. LeBron sits there and whines about media coverage when fucking Wilt had crosses burned on his goddamn what's name. Why he's winning 11 championships for the damn city. It's wild, bro. Let me not get into the Knicks. You know, and again, a lot of these guys were not around in the '60s, so you know you can't really get mad at Boston fans. Like, but you them Irish, or them Irish up there, they hated some N words. I'm telling you. You know, so they couldn't, and they felt that Wilt's getting all that money, and I got to go and work. I got to go and work my doc job or whatever. They were not feeling these brothers. They were not feeling the NBA. They didn't like the fact that NBA player. And mind you, when you talk about money, I think Russell was making like $80,000 back then. Again. Again, that's the dollar was worth 10 times as much as it worth. Yeah. You know, now like adjusted for inflation, that's probably about 800,000. But that's role players get that now. You know.
Yeah, and those guys some of them guys had to work jobs. Like they had to go.
Yes.
I had to be
this is why. For
the day and go play an NBA game at night.
Yeah, most of the jobs that they would work, they would either be a basketball coach, a gym teacher in the summer or whatever, or freaking lifeguard at a pool. You know, and that's what they would do, or they would, work jobs in the off season. Make good $5,000-$6,000. That's decent. That was like decent teacher money. Yeah, it wasn't the money you guys get now. And I think young fans should understand that this is the league was built off the tip poles of these guys. Because there wouldn't be no league for guys that make goddamn $60 million a year now if it wasn't for these guys. So just show a little goddamn respect, man.
Respect, that's just me, man. They're talking about the old heads talking about the newer guys and showing them no respect, but respect, you got to give respect to get respect. And
exactly.
Some of these guys are just, they think they're it. And they're not.
Exactly.
These guys built what they're able to do right now, so they need to show some respect. But
yeah, let's keep going.
All right, let's go. In fact, Ron Shaden, Braun got more first exits than Jordan. Yep, he's building a lot of them now.
it down. But if we're gonna do stats, Stockton has steals and assists at such a high level. It probably
that's
won't
why
be
it's
broken.
about balance, dude. It's not about just one thing.
No,
That's why
but you're not realizing I am balancing it. I am balancing.
What else
When
is in your
I
criteria?
say Will
What
owns
else
the
is in
record,
your criteria? Please let us know, because this is screaming LeBron James. So what else is in your
I think
criteria?
you're saying it screams LeBron James, but okay, LeBron James checks a lot of boxes. There's no doubt about it.
Let's just remove LeBron. Let's just get to your criteria. Why he's why other players are superior to him. Like, what's the reason? That's what we want to know.
Okay, if I'm gonna look at it, you say record, you say all-time records. Well, again, Will owns more all-time records than any other player.
So
that is a
all-time
fact.
records included. Hey,
we all collect.
We don't have to talk about Stockton. Just your reasons to your categories.
This is where he's putting my categories in dominant teams. If you don't have a dominant team, that's good. Then I'm going to also look at your worst teams, and I'm going to look at the context in that. Again, I put Kobe down. A lot of guys will have Kobe in the top 5 because he had the losing season in the prime of his career, and he had only one losing season. He went 42-40 with Swish Parker and Chris Mem and Brian Cook and Lamar Odom, right? And then he went 45-37, but then he got Gasol. The next thing you know, they're on top of the league. Well, I'm actually, the fact that he had a losing season. Larry Bird didn't have one losing season. Larry Bird didn't have one losing season of his 13, right? So Larry Bird was pretty much, again, you come on.
So do you have Bird over LeBron?
I do have Bird over LeBron. I have Bird over Kobe as well. So that's Bird is my 6.
Do you have Bird over Jordan?
I have him over Shaq, Craig. Do I have Bird over Jordan? No. What is my goal?
Losing seasons than LeBron and Kobe, I believe.
Okay,
yeah,
but Jordan has the 6 championships. Jordan,
are you stupid?
Also has the domination of a you understand what I'm saying? See, these are the tiebreakers.
What about
Bill? Okay, now Bill Russell. I'm glad you brought up Bill Russell. See.
This is
where they fuck up.
I'm sorry. This is pushing Jordan out of the top 5.
I think what you guys are trying to. I have like 10 criteria, 10 things that I look at what GOAT should do.
Okay,
right?
I have 6 so far. You have 4 more.
So so what? List the 6 that I have. Number 1, you got to be dominant. You got to be
dominant. You have to have a winning record. You have
winning record. A great team.
Seasons.
Great team.
You have to have great teams. Okay.
If you want to dock Jordan for the beginning of his career, you got to dock LeBron too. If that's pretty stupid to knowing that LeBron was drafted to a team with Ricky
saying it, not us. We didn't say this. That's what you said.
See, again, it's context and everything. No one, if you're in this, and especially in this era of the NBA, you get drafted to a team that's a lottery, and now you get drafted at 18, 19. Did we expect a guy at 19 to come in and make a team 45? Matter of fact, if that's the case, if my criteria is that, then why in the same season that Melo was drafted with LeBron, Melo led a team to a winning record in the West, and LeBron led a team to a losing record in the West. Yet LeBron got
not one of us brought that up, but you. So you're arguing
you are bringing it up because when you want to say then I should dock Jordan for having a losing record.
That's what you said. Okay. I said, well, you have to dock Jordan.
Here's the only criteria that matters. Okay, talk about.
Stop it real quick because this is why I catch them as well. I'm going to catch them. A losing record in the prime of your career when you have help. That's the context. They're so quick to knock Jordan for getting knocked out in the first round. Again, he got knocked out of the first round with Orlando Woolridge. Charles Oakley in '87 was the second leading scorer on the Bulls. There wasn't no Orlando Woolridge anymore. All right, and then when they got Scottie Pippen, the great Scottie Pippen, who didn't even average 10 points a game in the playoffs, now all of a sudden they think that Jordan averaged 45 in that series against the Cavs. Scottie averaged 10. Okay, so Scottie wasn't Scottie yet. But yet, they don't give him credit. They don't give Jordan credit for being as terrific as he was. And see, that's the thing. When I say losing seasons, I mean, losing. We all know that Kobe got drafted as a high schooler to a team that was already good. So he's not going to have those losing seasons. While I'm docking Kobe, it's the context. With Kobe decided it was me, either him or me. So you're going to build around me. Shaq got traded, and then the Lakers fell apart that 1 year. Actually, you could say they fell off for 3 years, right? They went on no playoffs, and then I knocked out in the first round of those. That's why I dock Kobe, because Kobe has to eat that. Now, I'm not going to dock him at the end of his career because he was severely injured, and the Lakers were going through a rebuild. They literally were going through a rebuild because they lost to Dwight Howard, and they didn't want to lose those draft picks because the draft picks were top 5 to protect it. So again, LeBron being knocked out, LeBron not making the playoffs, both with the Lakers when he went after Cleveland. Then no one told you to leave Cleveland and go to the Lakers, right, and not make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You turned on playoff mode. See, that's the thing they don't want to get. You turned on playoff mode and went 2-11. Not only did you go 2-11, you lost to the Grizzlies that year. You lost to the Atlanta Hawks that year. You lost to my Knicks that year. They won 19 games. In that 2-11 stretch, you lost to all of the teams that were taking for Zion Williamson. You turned on playoff mode. So that's the context. Now I get that I have the context of seeing that and Jordan's struggle. Okay, well, they got to the playoffs the first 3 years as an 8 seed and a 7 seed, and they lost to great teams. Okay, you're going to equate that to get knocked out the first round 2 straight years and 3 out of 4 years, only with the conference finals in the middle when you had to get to the play-in too. Let's keep it real. Outside of the bubble, the Lakers have been mediocre and bad every single year. So guess what? That's docking LeBron, guys. That's docking LeBron the same way I dock Kobe. But you got 6 years of mediocrity with the Lakers. Now, mind you, those mediocre years that Kobe were, the West was killing. The Spurs were out West. The Mavericks were forming up. The Grizzlies the Grizzlies were decent. Because you had the Clippers, you had Denver, it was pretty good. You had Utah was good. You had a lot of good teams out there, and Kobe had to kind of start from scratch. Oh, you even had Yao Ming and Steve Francis for a minute. Yeah, you had a lot of barn burning.
Talking about like
the mid 2000s, yeah. So the mid 2000s. When you had basically 1 year, Kobe was the first seed at 58 wins, and the 5th seed and the 8th seed had 50 wins.
Yep.
So similar to this year, where the 8th seed had 48 wins, right?
Yeah.
Grizzlies had 48 wins. The Grizzlies were the 2nd seed after the All-Star break and fell into the 8th seed, but they still had 58 wins. Remember, the Lakers won 50 games. The T-Wolves won 49 games, and that's a 3 and 6 matchup. So those are the similar type of deals. Now, again, you were the 3rd seed and lost. Now you want to tell me that 23, they act like 23 was some crowning achievement because they got to the conference finals and got swept. Again, if you want to hang on and get credit and get all of the extra credit tacked onto your career, well, then you got to eat the first round losses. You got to eat the not missing the playoffs. When John Sally said that team was going to win 75 games. Now, I know John Sally's out of ever-loving mind. He said that team was going 70. Yeah, he said that team was going 75-7. It was going to be easy. And that team went 33. And you blamed it all on Westbrook. We blamed it all on Westbrook. And LeBron was having the time of his life. And he was going to win the scoring title and all that. Bro, that team was god-awful. It was a god-awful roster. You had your fingerprints all over it. But, of course, you take it off. Those all Pelinka put that together. And then they won a version missing the year they got to the conference finals. They won a version missing the playoffs to get it until they made the. Remember, he passed Kareem. He passed Kareem and went on sabbatical. Then they traded Westbrook. They got Russell. They got Russell, right? Remember? Yeah, LeBron went away from the team for about a month after he got Kareem. After he passed Kareem's record. Russell, AD, and Austin Reeves led a charge for them to get back in the playoff contention. And then LeBron came back, those back-to-back game against the Bulls. I remember.
Yeah, didn't he say he was hurt or something? He was.
Yeah, it was the foot, the blah blah blah, the foot. So he came back like he was the conquering hero. Not realizing the Bulls probably went on like a. Yeah, it was the ankle that he keep talking about. Because I remember with Solomon Hill, the year after the COVID year, the year after the bubble year, Yeah, so that ankle he always uses the foot injury excuse. So yeah, I had to nurse the foot. Then he comes back again. It was a sabbatical. It was a vacation because they remember they lost to OKC. And OKC was still a middling team. They weren't even the OKC that was great yet. They still were a middling team and actually battling OKC for a playing spot. Once they lost the game, right? Because LeBron passed Kareem and it only took one more shot the rest of that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This isn't your legend, bro. This isn't your legend. Kobe ain't got no goofy shit like that. No. Okay, you want to tell me Kobe not taking a shot against? That's about it. And he made his point because guess what? They traded for Gasol not too long after that. The next year, and they got back on top. 3 straight finals. It's LeBron 3 straight finals in the West. Because that's the thing, right? It's one thing when you form a super team and go to 8 straight finals, and once Miami fell off, then you went and joined another super team and went to 4 more straight finals. Okay, great. But then you go out to the West and you couldn't do nothing with the young guys, the up and coming Brandon Ingram, the up and Magic just let Randall walk. Look at Julius Randle now, right? They traded Jordan Clarkson already, right? I think they traded Jordan Clarkson to Cleveland so they could get the cap space for LeBron to come over into LA, right? But again, that they had a lot of good young players. Ivica Zubac, and this is my boy JB who will harp on this. Ivica Zubac was traded to the Clippers for Mike Muscala. Ivica Zubac could have been your center.
Muscala is
yeah. You saw what Ivica Zubac did to Joker. Now, don't you think if you had Ivica Zubac, if you never let him walk, wouldn't your center problem? Wouldn't 80 would have never complained about a center?
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to try to get him back at some point.
Yeah, but it's going to cost. It's going to cost a lot more than it was. But yeah, they had Ivica Zubac. I mean, they traded all the young. They traded all. This my man JB harps on all the time. They traded all the young guns, and LeBron got his AD. And they still, mind you, they're still paying for the AD trade. AD is off the team now, and New Orleans owned the Lakers' first round pick. Yeah, all right. That'll finally close the books on the AD trade. You know, so but yeah. Let's keep going. Right. Again, I'm going to dock.
LeBron has the most balanced resume in NBA history. Like he's top 4 in MVPs, top 4 in Finals MVPs. He's top 3. He has the most All NBA selections. He's top 4.
I know all of it.
In all defensive selections. He has the longest prime of all time. He has a top 3 peak of all time. He's doubled anyone else's productive prime. He has the most playoff wins in NBA history. He has the second most final appearances in NBA history. He has one of the highest winning percentages in playoff history. Like you're not going to make an argument like there's nobody who checks more boxes than LeBron James if we're just talking about accomplishments and numbers put together.
Damn.
So they act like he was cooking. Here's the thing that I wanted to say. I tried to say, and they kept over talking me. Everything you just listed, right? Somebody beats him in every category. Somebody beats him in every single one of them.
So not consistently. That's why he's won.
Right. You can say balance. Hold on. You can say balance.
How someone beat him?
Okay. You said LeBron has what? Okay, you said LeBron. Okay, the only thing he is the most total points, right?
Okay. So he also has like a top 4 scoring average of all time.
Top 4. Okay, somebody has more points. Scoring average, right? 3 guys have more scoring average. See, what I'm trying to get you to understand, right? You say he has a balanced resume, but then there's somebody that beats him and significantly in each one of those categories.
Yeah, but they're not going to be better across the board than he is, King Speech. That's what balance means.
In the same category.
You know what balance means, right?
See, yeah, I know balance, but then that's
okay. What he means by balance. You can't be number 1 in everything, but if you top 3, there's other players that's going to be the top 3, but it's not the same players.
Of course.
Then if you top 3 in 3 different categories,
okay.
You can have 2 players.
So here's why the Magic Johnson thing, Key Speech, is ridiculous because let's take Magic Johnson's a better passer, right? Okay, great. He's not a better rebounder, scorer, a defender.
No, Magic was a better rebounder, sir. Magic was a better rebounder, sir. First of all, rebounding at the guard position. Are we going to tell me that the Magic wasn't a better rebounder? Okay, Magic had a season of 9.6 rebounds. Okay, LeBron let's just say I concede you the rebounder. We average 9. First of all, Magic had a better assist to turnover ratio. Magic was clearly the better playmaker. Magic could clearly make. Magic doesn't have a losing season, not even close to having a losing season. LeBron does. Now, matter of fact, LeBron has 4 losing seasons. See, this is what I'm saying. Once you start individually comparing guys, well, okay, yeah. What am I gonna dock?
Everything you said that makes Magic better than Jordan. I'm better than LeBron. It makes Magic better than Jordan. Everything you said.
Gotcha, bitch.
No. Because Magic is my favorite player. Once Jordan got to the 6 rings, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't give him it anymore. You gotta understand when Jordan won the second three-peat, right? No, okay. Russell has the 8. Again, that's context to that. There's context to that. He had the 8 with all the Hall of Famers around him with a team that didn't break up because of no free agency.
That's suspicious.
It's suspicious. See, you're not
That's weird.
Number one is being dominant for years at a time, winning ball in the regular season playoffs. You have to perform well in the playoffs as well. Most record. You have to subtract the losing seasons. You have to have rings as a requirement. You have to have. You said again the team playoff runs. You have to make it far. You just can't lose in the first round, even if you do perform well. And that's
look, Duncan lost in the first round. Am I going to kill him when he's been to how many other finals? Right?
Yeah, you have to have many playoff runs. You have to have great teams. So that's 7. Is that all in your criteria?
So okay, you also have to have have to lead the league in a certain particular stat. You have to be good at what you're doing. Let's put your point guard. How many times did Magic? That's probably my lead the league in how many times did Magic lead the league in probably like 4 times. I looked it up before times. So he did 4 times. Once. He also 4 times. He also and that's the other thing. He led the league in steals twice. Now, what's his name? King John think he caught me because I said that Magic would switch off onto to small forward defensively, and so LeBron averages 7.5 rebounds a game. The Magic averages 7.2. But Magic at the guard position, or Magic will play all over the court. Magic has a season where he averages 9.6 rebounds. LeBron's career high is not 9.6. I think LeBron's career high is about 8 point something. Magic was a better rebound than Magic averaged 3. Magic averaged 3 offense. And one telling stat: when you average more offensive rebounds, that tells me you're better because offensive rebounds is a pure hustle stat. Magic had one season, I think he averaged 3.4 offensive rebounds. Again, I'm going up the numbers off my head because every time I'm on phone, I can't really look the numbers up. But Magic has a season where he averaged 9.6 rebounds. So the 7.5 to 7.2, when you've hung around, mind you, you've hung around and let's keep it 100%. Shout out to Angry Old Hoops. A lot of LeBron rebounds are freaking lazy clip. The same way Russell Westbrook got rebounds like that. Man, LeBron gets some freaking no impact. He ain't jumping when nobody rebounds. I think it was a better rebound than him. But okay, again, we're nitpicking. What they don't seem to understand is, somebody again. Just like I said, these disappointing seasons dock from LeBron. I get what T Perfect was trying to say. He's balanced across the board. But you want me to dock Jordan for getting to the playoffs on a losing team 3 years of the first part of his career, but have nothing. And then the 2 years with Washington. Again, context. Where the hell is the Luka on those Washington teams? Because if you put Jordan and Luka on that team, they would have won 50-something games. Easily, minimum. In that East.
Yeah, minimum. That's the equivalent of the Wizards getting Kobe back then.
D'Lo, I never said it. I didn't say they didn't stop the game when Kobe passed Jordan. I never said they didn't. I know they stopped the game. I know they said I know they stopped the game. But wait a minute. They stopped. They were mad. LeBron was mad that they didn't stop the game when he passed Jordan. But they forget that the Lakers were losing by 20 in the midst of a losing season the year he passed Jordan. Now they stopped the game when he passed Kareem. They had brought Kareem to the building, and they lost that game. When he passed Wilt, they lost the game. When he passed Kobe, they won the game. Unfortunately, Kobe passed the next night. Damn. Right? But when he passed Wilt, they stopped the game. I believe when he passed Malone, they stopped they stopped the game, but they was also losing that game. And they lost the game when he passed Kareem. He took one more shot because we all know that he really didn't care about winning that game. The Lakers were fighting for a play-in tournament. Again, these are the things that I'm going to dock him for. Because again, they told me that you care more about stats than and so yes, he gets all these extra credit points, right? It's like the kid that gets the teacher's offering 20 extra credit points if you do answer the bonus question. Well, one guy to stop with is 100. You got a 92, but you got like 14 extra credit points. Now you got a 106, and you think that puts you ahead of the guy that got 100 and ain't bothered with the extra credit. Come on, bro. But it's like, yeah, you're getting records, but you're losing. You're losing on teams with expectations. You're losing with an All-NBA player at your side. Come on. AD was hurt. Yeah, you were hurt that season too. So, okay, I'm going to dock you for that. Because guess what? Kareem was playing 80 games in his 40s. And then 19 games. Against the bad boy Pistons, against freaking Roy Tarpley and them, whatever he was playing in the West, banging with these centers in the 80s at age 40, age 41, age 42. Bro, gotta go through some adversity. LeBron was tired and couldn't score no more. Well, guess what? You can all see that now. Kareem was okay. You're right. Kareem in those years were not asked to score 30 like he did in his prime, but he was still asked to do a bang-up job, banging up with other centers. They needed that. If the Lakers did not have that, they wouldn't have won those championships. So what are we going to do? He got a bronze medal championship, but he got a championship. And he also got the 6 MVP. So if you want to talk about balanced resume, I go to dominance. I go to things that I count. So LeBron checks a lot of boxes. As I said, he checks a lot of boxes. But when we start getting into the negatives, when we start getting into the losing season, when we start getting into the famous 2011 finals meltdown, again, Tragic Johnson dribbling out the clock. That was his worst playoff career. That was his worst playoff performance, right? When he dribbled out the clock. You got to remember that game went to overtime. He dribbled out the clock, but that game went to overtime. They didn't lose the game. It just went to overtime. And they lost. That was their chance. They were already up 1-0. That was game 2, and they still had a chance to go to game 7. Again, LeBron with the 3 turnovers in 2013. And then Ray Allen, missing a shot, and Ray Allen getting the 3. LeBron almost blew that finals. That was game 6 where they went down. He had to be bailed out. See, these things count in the context. So, again, we would be if I had to really, really break everybody's best playoff performances, the worst playoff performances, the most, right? Jordan getting stripped by Nick Anderson. That's all in there, right? But that's the second round, what he was playing when he was freaking going to spring training. And actually, there was no spring training because of the strike, right? So that's one of the main reasons that Jordan even came back for 95. But again, all of this is in context. Again, the strip on Karl Malone. They said, Jordan never had a defining playoff defensive like Jordan, the chase down block on Iguodala. You forget the strip on Malone? You forget that Jordan hit the 3 right before then?
And you see the link in the I put it in the chat, D-Lo.
Yeah, D-Lo, if you get you know what? He might be on my stream. Hold on. I'm gonna hit him on what's the name real quick. I'm gonna hit him on IG. No, I'll be right back. But you get,
right. Yeah.
No, hit him on IG. Yeah, that one.
It's a lot, a lot of context that just gets overlooked when it comes to these debates and these talks. We got the,
it is a subjective debate.
It's very subjective.
It's very subjective. There's no right, no wrong answer. But what they're trying to do, and then they're not understanding. See, they try to go to one thing. But LeBron is more balanced. Okay, well, LeBron's more balanced, but LeBron does not have I got Jordan as the GOAT. And the Bulls lost 55 games in the second three-peat. They lost 55 games, and that's regular season. Can you understand that's less than 20 games lost per season? That's the regular season and then mind you, the third season, he goes half the year with no Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
That's fucking dominance. When LeBron does something like that, you know the only other player that did anything close to that? Steph Curry.
Yep.
Only they didn't three-peat. They lost in 16. And then they had to get Kevin Durant to get back on top like that. And then they did, but they went 70. Well, the first season they went 67. Yeah. And they were dominant in the playoffs. Then the second season, they won the 73 games. But remember, they almost lost to OKC. They were down 3-1 to OKC. Oh. So they weren't as dominant as the Bulls. Now the Bulls did go to a game 7 in that third year in the conference finals with Indiana, but again they lost 55 games. That's regular season and playoff dominance for 3 seasons. Nobody's ever done that. Not even Russell. Not even Wilt. None of them. So again, realize the dominance. Hold on, let me get D-Lo in here, man.
All right.
So what up, D-Lo?
What's going on, man?
Yo, you hear us? D-Lo. You might have to unmute yourself. I don't know if you muted.
Are you in?
D-Lo.
Yeah, I can hear us.
What up, bro? I know you got the kids around.
What's up?
Yo, what's the word?
What's good, bro? So where am I lying, man? Because you've been calling me a liar for the last few because of the Ant-Man quote. Because of the Ant-Man quote. Okay, Ant-Man said it. He said LeBron is the GOAT. He's 23.
You know what you're doing, man.
Ant-Man wasn't even sperm when Jordan hung that up for the Bulls. But yeah.
Oh, it looked like the connection in and out.
If you want, try just refreshing the StreamYard, and I will put you back in. Try refreshing your browser, and then we put you back in. A lot of time that works it out.
Yeah, still in and out. Hold on.
All right, let me just put him backstage for real quick and try. Like I said, I'll let him know. Try to refresh the browser. Damn, even my shit going, man. Hold on, let me bounce out too.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, when everybody get back, we're gonna finish this.
I'm back.
Goat Jane Kingdom, what they had to say about, about the criteria. We're gonna finish that up in a little while.
Yeah. Let's go.
Are you ready to keep going?
Yeah. D-Lo, if you hear, just holler at us in a minute.
All right, here we go.
Lead the league in stats. Lead the league in a category.
Yo, I'm about to drop off. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay, he's great.
Thanks, man.
He's great.
Anything else? Yeah.
See, I never get the negatives. Like, see, and that's the thing.
Anything else before we end this?
Yeah. I really want to take the gloves off, and I should have, because again, I didn't knock. I try not to knock LeBron. I don't want to look like a LeBron hater.
So, your criteria in Chat GPT, just so you're aware.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with 10. So number 10 was Larry Bird. You had him as 6.
Okay.
Number 9 is Steph Curry. I'm not sure if you had him in your top 10.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Number 8 is Shaq.
Okay. That's actually right on the money.
I think you said you had Shaq like
I
7.
said Shaq at 9. I had Shaq at 9.
9. Okay, 9. Okay. You got Kobe. Kobe at 7. I think that's where you had Kobe.
Okay.
So you got Magic at 6.
I had Magic at 5.
Bill Russell at 5. So you're like,
I have him at 3.
Criteria is almost on point. So Bill Russell at 5. I think you have him at 4, right?
Got him at 3.
3, okay. Tim Duncan is 4.
Yeah. There's more to it why I take Tim Duncan out, but okay.
You have Kareem. Well, they have Kareem at 3 with your
I know
criteria.
you're first fan. Okay.
They have Michael Jordan as number 2 with your criteria, and the person who you believe is the GOAT with your criteria is LeBron James.
It goes the same way.
I love ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's
because again, ChatGPT is written by a bunch of, I'm sure that code was written by a bunch of millennials.
So your GOAT is LeBron James.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
Whatever.
And see, that's the thing. They don't get into the negatives. See, that's what they do over there. They want to, they will not talk about 2011. They won't act like these years. These years are nothing to lose years for LeBron. So while LeBron can tack on all-time stats, they don't, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing to lose. So when the teams are ultimately disappointing,
because I'm gonna get your criteria.
Yeah, we got to get into that. And it's again, you could talk about, because I try to look as much. Yeah, I try not, again, you'll never see me say 6-0 versus 4-6. That's a stupid look. I'm not going to dock LeBron for losing 6 finals. I'm not that LeBron hater. LeBron hater that docks him for losing finals, because obviously it's better to get to the finals than fucking, go out in the second round, first round, right? But I'm going to dock him for losing the first round when you were heavy betting favorite. You goddamn right. I'm going to dock you for for being the third or second best favorite and you're not even make the playoffs. See, that matters, right? That matters in the Vegas betting era age, when you were a team that was preseason third or second team to win the whole championship and that team doesn't make the playoffs, you're going to take that L. That didn't happen to Jordan. The Wizards were not expected to make the freaking playoffs the year that, like the Wizards were a team that just won a lottery and drafted a high schooler in Kwame Brown. Now, if Abe Pollin gave Jordan's wishes and they traded for Elton Brand, who knows how that season plays out instead? Because Elton Brand was at least an established player at that point in 2001, right?
Yeah, I mean they were doing good though. That's the thing. People forget they were.
You're right. They were doing good until Jordan got hurt.
Yeah, then he got hurt. They were top 5. They were something like that.
Yeah, they won 13 out of 14. They won 13 out of 17 games in Senator. That's what I'm saying. Like you're the 3 seed this year. You were playing and they don't want that to count against them. I'm going to count it against them because guess what? You're still saying. See, you want all the praise and you don't want all the smoke. So I get it. You're still putting up numbers, but then Kareem was still putting up decent numbers up until the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. But his team, he was helping his team win, get to the finals, get to the conference finals. 85 they won a championship. 86 I think they lost to the.
And that's why I feel like Duncan doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Duncan was all NBA first team, all NBA second team, and all NBA first team defense at age 38.
Yeah.
Something LeBron hasn't done.
Yeah.
And his teams were winning.
Yeah. He was doing his teams were winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was doing the little things that LeBron, like you said, he did play defense against Minnesota, but, he didn't come through when they needed him. Tim Duncan would come through. He was going to play defense.
And this is the thing. And Tim Duncan played defense all year.
Exactly.
He didn't wait for one series where, my coach don't want to play the rim because that's the problem. That's been one of the problems. That's one of the problems they have with Johnny and them. Neither one of them want to understand. Don't understand. And LeBron. Shout out for LeBron for finally admitting it. Yo, look. All our mistakes, AD was there to back it up. That's what they were fighting over yesterday. That's what they were fighting over on stream yesterday. How LeBron admitted that AD was there to make. That was the key to their defense. That every time somebody Luka leads the league in blow-bys. So does Austin Reeves is up there, and AD was there to erase a lot of those mistakes. And that's the part that they were missing. That was the key to any defense that the Lakers play. So now when the Lakers had that January 1st to whatever stint where they had the best or second best defense in the league, I said it all along, that was smoke and mirrors. But you know, again, LeBron played decent defense in a series where his offense went away. And that's why, if you understood that, so that's the problem. Duncan at age 38, 39 was going to be the defensive anchor, but he was no longer going to put up the 18 and 10 no more.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
he couldn't do it. Yeah.
but he gave the reins over to Kawhi.
Yeah.
Tony Parker was still young. You understand what I'm saying? He gave the reins over to the young Bucks. Did he play? You the Spurs fan? He played a year with LaMarcus right before he retired.
Yeah. He played. LaMarcus came in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They played one season.
So he sacrificed. And again, if Duncan first of all, Duncan probably wasn't capable of getting no 25 or anything he did in his prime. But again, he was gonna get a team what they need, and they still were a winning team. LeBron. Again, he wants to sit there and rest on defense. I've said this many years. You watch it. He's a statue on defense. Even that critical play with the turnover, the ball went off his hands. He didn't run back. That was a critical part of the game.
Yeah, when he just standing there looking like he didn't know what happened. He was like,
"Know what happened? The ball just went off your hand and you choked, and you didn't put up a stat in the last year." Yeah. So all of the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have. My son would have got it if he just stood there after something like that. You got to go back and get that ball back.
Thank you. But you know what? LeBron is 40. You can't expect Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was running back and forth all those years, all those fine. Mm-hmm. Now look, if Kareem was tired, guess what? They were going to take him out and put Michael Thompson in. Yeah. Well, how are you docking Kareem for being the starting center of a finals team, of a back-to-back championship team? Remember, they went back-to-back 87, 88.
Mm-hmm.
So how you docking him? He still played 80-something games, 30 minutes a game. LeBron is playing 60, 70-something. And again, as we said, Darvin Ham wanted to limit his minutes, but LeBron fought against that. And that's the difference.
Because all they care about is stats now.
That's all they care about. And that's the thing. And that's what LeBron, and that's the part that they don't want to discuss there. How LeBron is just tacking on extra credit stats while he's playing on mediocre teams. And those mediocre teams, because I care about your team. That's the biggest part of my criteria, actually. Were you dominant yourself? And was your domination, did you make a team dominant? If you're going to tell me that LeBron's still getting 27 a night, but you're getting 27 a night on a mediocre team, well, I'm not going to give you as much credit. Because I'd rather you get 20 on a dominant team than get 27 on a mediocre team. I'm going to respect the 20 on a dominant team over the 27 on a mediocre team. You feel what I'm saying? Like look at this with Spider Mitchell. This was truly his best year because he stepped back in scoring to have his team be more dominant. That's part of basketball that they don't seem to understand. LeBron might understand it, but LeBron got so many dummies in his fan base that they don't understand that. Yeah.
Basketball. You play your role and you understand what you need to do to help your team win.
If Magic needed to get 42, he got to get 42. Yep. Magic understood his best role. So when you say, well, LeBron scored more points, Magic was a playmaker, the most dynamic playmaker of all time. Magic didn't even win Finals MVP the year he averaged. I think he averaged 15 assists for the Finals run in '85. That was Kareem's MVP at age 38. Again, a Finals MVP at age 38. Does LeBron have a Finals MVP at age 38? No, he was 35. Of course, they've been acting like he's 40 for 5 years, but no, he was actually 35 that year.
Yeah,
man.
They skew everything like these guys back then, like Magic wasn't doing these things, and these guys are doing what LeBron's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those guys didn't exist. They were just Kareem was only good at that advanced age because he had Magic. Whereas LeBron has had so many guys, great players, AD, all these guys.
And one of the dumb things you put two teammates. Why? Yeah, because they both were fucking great.
Yeah,
they both arguably the greatest players at their positions. So why wouldn't I? And guess what? They went to 9 finals and won 5 championships. They had some of the greatest finals of all time. They had some of the greatest back and forth with the Celtics. The 3 years that they played the Celtics, they played against, they got their doors rocked by the 4-4-4, Doc and Moses.
Yeah.
They had some bad losses. They played the Bad Boys. They won 1 year, and the next year the Bad Boys came back and swept them. But they went back to back. They beat Celtics in '87. They beat Celtics in '85. No, it was in '85. They lost in '84.
Yeah.
You know, so again, yes, we all know that Magic revived what's his career. Yeah, well, we can't say that AD and Luka revived LeBron's career because you were toiling on mediocre teams. You missed the playoffs, remember? And you needed to get AD to get back in the contention. Now, again, they'll tell you, it wasn't just AD. It was this was a Johnny that I was cooking them on. And then I was like, then a Johnny was like, I said, then look at the 21. Okay, the year after they won the championship, they were up 2-1 on Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. Even though they were 7th seed, they were the heavy favorites. When AD went down with the groin, what happened? Phoenix ran them off the floor. So Johnny would never acknowledge that it was AD. Losing AD basically went from them being heavy favorites to getting ran out of the gym.
Yeah, because he tried to come back. What was that game?
The last game, game 6.
Yeah, and played like a few minutes, and then he had to go back. He was in.
That was it. So you never gave AD credit for what he was. Johnny is full because even Brandon Lee disagrees with him. Like, no, we need AD. We need AD. But of course, the mind fuckery that LeBron. AD I said this. AD has been the MVP of the Lakers 5 of the 6 years he was there. But the fact that LeBron will sit there and act like he's getting the numbers and his numbers are the most important. Again, you had a negative plus minus this year. That's another thing. Even though we, even though we look at these things a lot more today than we did back then, still means something. I don't think there was no point where the Bulls were ever better with Jordan off the floor. You can't. And then the 55 win shit. Please stop it. Yeah. They went from a 3-peat to the second round. It was those of us who knew basketball back in '94. We knew that the Bulls were still going to be competitive. We knew it. They brought in Kukoc, who was Kukoc even said, "I'd be Luka if I went to another team. If I went to Portland or I went to a Dallas." They would be looking at me like I was Luka because I would have had my own team. They would have ran everything through me. Blah blah. Kukoc was nice.
Kukoc was nice, yeah.
So to act like they just lost Jordan is dumb. Again, remember when the Lakers won 33 games the year before LeBron got there. LeBron got there, they won 2 more games. No. Oh, but the groin injury. No, okay. And then you came back from the groin injury, and then you went 2-11, losing the tanking teams. That's gonna work against you, sir. That's gonna work against you when you had Russell Westbrook on your team and you had the whole world believe that Russell Westbrook was fucking. Like, first of all, have a bad Russell and shout out to Russell Westbrook, right? Yo, shout out to Russell Westbrook because he came up big in Game 7, didn't he? Yeah.
And what's up, Casual? What's going on, man? Casual in the chat.
What's good? Well, yeah, man. These are the things that. They gotta realize, man, it's the whole body of work. And so what LeBron fans like to do is they like to hype up any Jordan negatives or any Magic negatives, but they want to ignore. And there's a lot more negatives for LeBron than there are for Jordan. There's a few Jordan negatives. You want to really I'll play your game, and I'll say that the Wizards not making the playoffs is a negative, even though we know in context you came to a lottery team. LeBron came to a team that was in a lottery 4 years. So they accumulated the Lonzo Ball. They accumulated the Josh Hart. They accumulated. So you had a lot of young guys who are now helping teams win now. They could have helped you win all along, but you had to get AD. You had to trade everybody for AD. You got AD. You got a 1-year team, right? Because they had to trade. Once they traded for AD, they had to sign a lot of 1-year mercenaries. Remember, they were trying to get Kawhi to add to that to make a big 3. Remember that, right? When Kawhi didn't go there, they had to pivot. They got a bunch of 1-year players. They won the championship, but then guess what? They lost most of that team, and they came back and they were mediocre. And then they lost most of that team the next year. They traded for Westbrook. Remember, they traded KCP, who's a very important part of that championship team, to get Westbrook. They traded Kuzma. He was important. And then you traded it for Westbrook. You traded draft picks and all that. Man, come on, we can go at it all day. But again, at the end of the day, you got to eat those. If Jordan got to eat the Wizards, why you can't eat? Imagine putting Westbrook and fucking AD with 40-year-old Jordan. They got to the damn finals. Come on now. Oh man, they got to the finals. I don't know if CW. Oh, CW bounced out, but yeah, we about to end the stream, man. It's been a good show. Like I said, I just wanted to react to that because they clipped me up. So fair use. We're gonna react to that clip and we're gonna tell you where you're wrong because y'all again, it was 4-on-1. Oh, okay, yeah, CW just hit me. All right, so I'm gonna try to end it from here. But this was again, I had to clap back, man, and I'm glad that the Knicks won. So it's been a good night. But I had to clap back at that joint. It is. Look, it's always fun going up there with them. I don't take it personally. I mean, make me a star. I don't care. But yeah, I really do got to get this on paper. It's over the course of having a busy life, I'm gonna put these in my notes and get my total criteria because I covered a lot of it here. And again, those negatives. When I start to dock you for your worst team, Jordan didn't have no team that went 33 and 47 with all stars around him. When give Jordan an all-star, they were winning the championship. That's the bottom line. Give him one all-star. These guys have a 5, 6, 7, 8 all-stars. You know what I'm saying? So, CW just told me his Spectrum went out, so I don't know if he can get back in here. Yeah. But for those that watch, man, I hope y'all were entertained. I was pretty entertained looking at this, and they tried to play gotcha with me, and again, the fact of the matter is when LeBron again, I said LeBron checks a lot of boxes, and it's not a knock to be to me the top these Kareem, Hakeem. Like these, I mean, bro, it's not a knock to not be in the top 5, bro. It's not. It's not a knock. Larry Bird is one of the most amazing players ever. Hey, welcome back, C-Dub. Hey, you there? All right. So yeah, we about to end it here. If you got anything else to say, C-Dub, and are y'all coming on this week? He's muted. But
yeah, we'll be on probably Wednesday. We might try to get on tomorrow to do the second round preview, but probably, and you'll be on Thursday.
I will be on Thursday. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I might do go debate part 3. You do more about this criteria because the old, again, we got. I want and again, I want you guys to come up. If y'all want to debate your go, because again, one thing I'm not going to do is knock up people's lists, bro. Now, look, if you put Dennis Rodman or you put motherfucking Robert Horry or Popeye Jones in your top 100 or even your top 10 or top 30, of course, now that's ridiculous. If you put Scottie Pippen in the top 10, all right, maybe you can make this defensive argument. But that's a little wild because Scottie Pippen really only had like 6, 7 great All-Star seasons, and he had the learning curve to become Scottie. Then he had the good 9-year run with Jordan, and the couple of years without Jordan, and then after the back surgery, he fell completely off. He was a role player for the rest of his career. But if you want to put him in the top 10, hey, it's your personal preference. I'm going to challenge you on it. You can put him in your top 20, maybe. I got him somewhere in between 25 and 30, 35.
He was a great player. I'm not taking that away, but to put him top 10.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, I think Dominique was a better player than him, and he was. And he was. If you look at them head to head, Dominique used to destroy Scottie. The idea that Scottie would guard him, Dominique would guard Jordan. So now Dominique was guarding a harder guard. And then he would still be fresh enough to drop 30 something on Scottie quite often.
Yeah, Dominique would he would kill them Bulls himself. He just didn't have a team. He didn't have the.
He just had Doc Rivers, and at one point he had Roundtree and Kevin Willis, Spud Webb. Just didn't have a second grade player. So that's a difference. And again, that's the difference between all time great. Patrick Ewing's another one. Didn't have another Hall of Famer in his whole career. You know, but you know,
okay. No, so I guess Oakley. No, he never.
No, Oakley didn't make the Hall of Fame. Not even close. The only Hall of Famer that Patrick Ewing ever played with was Mo Cheeks, and that was at the end of Mo Cheeks' career. And mind you, we had to trade Rod Strickland to get. We should have kept Rod Strickland. Goddamn it!
Rod would have been. If y'all had Rod.
Yeah, Rod. We traded Rod Strickland and Mark Jackson with it. If you remember, Mark Jackson used to hook Patrick Ewing up. Mark Jackson made Ewing about a 28, 29 point scorer. And when we traded Mark Jackson, it became a lot harder for Pat, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Pat never got that true number two. When he did, he got Houston, and then LJ. LJ was diminished. Houston was great, but Ewing was on the way down. And 96, man, it was the Knicks will pull up whatever. You know what we messed up? We also let Bernard King walk out the door, and then Bernard King dropped freaking 50 on us, 40 or something on us. Bernard King was the truth too. Again, that's another guy. Injury robbed him for years of his career. But many people will tell you, bro, Bernard was gonna get 40 when there's nothing you can do about it. Like, think about having a guard I do like that. Yeah, man. And it wasn't all about dunking. He was just such a talented. He could just score on so many parts of the court. This is without using three. See, in this day and age, yeah, Bernard King would have learned to go out there and hit a 22-footer from the corner. You understand what I'm saying? 23-foot shot from the corner. Bernard King would have, and he could have dropped 60 in these games, man. But that's we'll get into more of that later and all that. You know, these guys dropped 60 something without taking a three at all. You know.
Just look at Wilt, 100 points, and he didn't take a three. So
thank you. That point that I said again, all-time records. Wilt has, like, bro, they don't get it. Wilt, again, you're gonna look at every single record on Basketball Reference. You're gonna see Wilt. You're gonna see Wilt 60% of the time. That's how dominant he was. So again, when you add that and the dominant teams, and you take the context of him, the teams that were losing, you can't blame him when he lost his best players that were around him. You got a 9-team league, man. This is so many. He's got to play against Hall of Famers. He got to play against Russell 10 times. LeBron, remember I made this point, right? He got to play against Russell 10 times a year. He got to play against Jerry West 6-7 times a year. LeBron and Kevin Durant didn't play for 5 seasons.
Exactly. I did a video on that. Yeah, he didn't have to see Kawhi as much because Kawhi was. Yeah, he was a LeBron killer, still is.
Yeah. So that when y'all talk about expansion and stuff like that, bro, you talk about expansion like it's a negative thing where you're adding teams, but then you're taking it away from Bill Russell and them guys because there were less teams. Like, again, they it is what it is, bro. Yeah, well, yeah, man, we're gonna sign off on this note. I'm glad that done a live, impromptu, and I'm glad the Knicks won, bro.
Great win for them. It's gonna be a good series, I think.
Yeah. All right, bro.
All right, man. Well, 10 Toast Time will be back this Thursday, and GOATcast podcast will probably be around on Wednesday. So we'll recap or start talking about the second round, and we'll see what 10 Toes Down got for us this week. I know they got something crazy, so make sure y'all come back, like and subscribe, and help the channel grow. So
right, man.
For right now, so we are out. We'll check you guys later.
Salute. Subscribe. All right.